healthy eating contributes to emotional well-being. It is a part of the equation. And if we leave that out, we are not really serving all of the different aspects of our children's emotional well-being.
If you think about a kiddo that's a kindergartner that's trying to go from ABCs to reading a chapter book in a couple years, how do you do that on an empty stomach? You kind of don't. And then you may or may not have social skills that you're also trying to learn. And then we're wondering why they can't do really well socially or really kind of having some high anxiety. How could they not be?
But if we're eating too much, obviously that also can contribute to problems as well. Whether we're eating too little or eating too much, that seems to be where a huge percentage of our population finds themselves.
With hydration, the problem is drinking all these other drinks that really don't have much place in a healthy diet. No health expert would recommend that children drink energy drinks. And so those really have no place in the diet of a child.
Offer a lot of after-school caffeine, a lot of after-school empty calories that aren't really benefiting them as well. We're looking at a lot of problems there for kids with anxiety and with problems with lack of sleep because caffeine and anxiety are buddies.
I think that if we can find ourselves in appropriate healthy eating habits and hydration habits, that will go a long ways toward people feeling better physically, but also feeling better emotionally.
Yeah, well, nutrition is huge, right? In terms of how we feel, how our bodies feel, how our minds feel. I mean, we've all been hangry before, right? Where your moods are just off the chart.
I know when my kids' emotions are just outrageous, just when they are so angry and so quick to respond to something, they're probably hungry.
You don't know why you're mad. It's like, well, maybe drink a glass of water and maybe let's get this kid a snack. And that was the problem.
Those days when you haven't eaten and you start feeling a headache come on, or you start feeling shaky, or just everything about your day feels a little growlier, your body's telling you how important food is to you.
Lack of a healthy diet and fluids and hydration definitely can lead to sluggishness. It can lead to an inability to focus and attend to things, which ultimately leads to stress and anxiety. And in order to thrive, we have to fuel. And so I think what we're talking about here is just really evaluating in our diet what good fuel looks like.
When we talk about nutrition, if we don't have protein and carbohydrates and fats and hydration to be able to make our health work, those are all important pieces to be able to replenish everything that we've burned off for the day, to have good mental health, to be able to exercise, do all the different pieces of what we need to be able to do. Those really are important pieces that come from eating a variety of foods and having a really good nutrient-dense diet. We know that kids burn through nutrients as they're growing. And so by feeding kids more things that have more nutrients to them, it does make them have less cravings. The more foods are processed, the less nutrients are likely to be in them. And so we eat them and they fill you up at the moment, but they're real calorie dense. And then at the same time, not that much later, you're still kind of hungry because your body hasn't been fed by those nutrients. Our body just keeps calling us back to the table.
Especially in my own children, if they're choosing foods that probably are pretty nutrient dense, I definitely see it impact their mood, their behavior. It impacts their attention, their focus. All of those things are connected, right, in some way.
So having them say, oh gosh, I do feel better when I've had something with a little more protein to it, or I do feel better, because we as parents, they hear what we say and they do kind of catch some of it, but having them recognize it in their body also gives them ownership and helps them feel more powerful in making their choices going forward. Is it a smoothie or an Energizer? Is it coffee espresso drink with 4 shots of espresso, or is it a milk steamer? That's a very different impact on your ability to get to sleep that night.
Well, hydration, if you are dehydrated, you will not be paying attention as well. You won't be as alert. But hydration doesn't have to be that complicated. Really, for most of us, it's water. Maybe a cup of coffee or tea in the morning, but really water is the main thing.
And I think there were times in my life where I really thought I was hungry, where I was like eating snacks, when in truth, all I needed was a glass of water. But really, hydration is important to your whole system. And if your brain is part of your whole system, then certainly hydration is important to your brain as well.
Without food and all the pieces of nutrition, we really don't have good sleep. We don't have a good mindset for the day. We don't really have the ability to get up and exercise because we don't have the energy to be able to do that. So food, nutrition, and hydration, all those pieces are key pieces to us feeling good.
The way we view food in our culture has changed so much. It's gone from what we grow, what we find to be nutritious, to what's quick and easy and cheap. So our values about food have changed.
All of the different products that are on the market, the way they're advertised, the way kids see them, that definitely impacts, I think, our food and nutrition.
Our kids get most of their news from what's in their hand, on their devices, and everything that they're kind of picking up on. We obviously know that it's not all good information. It also can lead them to some really tough decisions that we don't always agree with as parents, and trying things that are really counterintuitive to their health.
Way too much emphasis placed on energy drinks and sports drinks and things like that.
They're being advertised as this is something your body needs and it's gonna make you feel great, but it actually makes your energy crash.
Get some gas, but we can also go in and get some processed food while we're there. We make it very, very accessible.
People live in areas where the closest grocery store is not within walking distance, right? Transportation is a big problem for a lot of our families at times.
Kids are aware of what they should be eating. It's just because of the cost of fruits and veggies and stuff like that, sometimes parents just don't make it a significant part of their budget or their spending.
If we're talking about our community in general, think about the fact that about half of our families are at free and reduced lunch level. And so they probably don't have a lot of choice in their cabinets. And people kind of don't believe that people are hungry because they haven't experienced it. And also because our families do a really good job of hiding it. We see behavioral issues at all levels, but I think it kind of gets worse as we go up, because we have middle schoolers and high schoolers that it may or may not be cool to them to have breakfast. And then we've got the whole weird world that they live in with social media, where it's also not cool to be a normal person size. So then they think, okay, well then I'll just skip a meal. So that's a whole nother problem. So then they're going to school, may or may not have good social situation, may be coming from a place of trauma. I mean, it's a formula for disaster if you don't have any nutrients on board, and then, they go home and they may or may not have any food available to them.
I think we're on the go a lot, so kids are eating more processed foods and maybe more fast foods, or skipping meals altogether, right? Because they don't have the time for it.
Think about a kid that just lost their front 4 teeth. How are they chewing a healthy meal with no front teeth and a short lunch? There's lots to consider for every kid in lots of different stages along the way to be able to have them optimize their nutrition, even if you have somebody that's really paying attention, and then maybe it's not the thing they feel like having that day because their friend had something that maybe looked better to them.
Families are busy, so that family meal time doesn't look like it used to, where we carved out time in our day to sit down and have healthy food with each other and have conversation and all of those different pieces that do help us to eat better when we're eating at home.
The time in the day feels like not enough to do some of these things or to make time for it.
Most parents are working. Several parents have 2 parents who are working, and so it is challenging to get all of those healthy options and always have them available.
Nobody eats perfectly, let's face it, nobody does, nor should we put our kids to that pressure. When you have a choice, make the best choice you have. It needs to always be our first and foremost discussion. We need to make it a giant bumper sticker across everything, because there is a real world of you're gonna eat that out there that we need to stop it, because any food is better than no food. We're not looking for perfection. It's just figuring out how do I work with all of this to make it be good for you.
And some of the times there is a gap in knowing, well, how do I prepare these foods in a way that my kids will like? How do I prepare these foods in a way that I like?
We've got people that grew up with everything having from scratch cooking. Some people have never been taught how to cook, and some people are learning everything from TikTok. It just kind of depends on people and where they come from, and you can't feel bad about that. You gotta give yourself some grace and just keep learning and just keep growing your skills. When you know better, you're gonna do better. But don't try and do it all at once. Spend a bunch of money trying to buy everything healthy, and we're gonna eat healthy as a family, and then throwing it away in 2 weeks. Start with one thing that's healthy and see how your family does at eating it. And then it's like, oh, okay, that worked. Let's try something different, because if you do it too many times in a row, then they're gonna get tired of it.
Something that we do in our house that I think has been a game changer, especially when we can look at our week ahead and say, okay, we have multiple events. We are not going to have time to sit down and have that healthy meal, and carving a little time on Sunday to do some meal prepping. Make snack boxes up, easy grab and go things that the kids can grab out of the fridge, but they're healthy.
I buy things that I have to do preps for only on the weekends. So I know I'm gonna be able to go home and cut them, and I'll be able to use them, because nothing's worse than spending a bunch of money and having it go in the crispers of doom and never coming out alive. Think about, okay, what are the places where I can put convenience in place?
You don't have to focus on 3 big healthy meals. You know, maybe 6 smaller meals throughout the day, as opposed to thinking as a parent, I have to create this elaborate lunch and dinner for my family.
Kids are hungry at the end of the day. They've done a lot of hard work. Their brain is emptied whatever went into their tummy, and they're ready for a snack. And have a very specific area where you keep snacks for your kids. Super easy and super easy for them to grab. It's the stuff they're gonna grab because we're all kind of lazy. That are more of those things that are fruits and vegetables. Not only do you give them more nutrients, but they do fill up on those things faster and replenish the nutrients that they've burned during the day, versus if you give them things that are like chips and crackers. If you have the luxury of being a person that gets to pick up your kiddo, have something for them in the car right then. A lot of times they're probably more thirsty than they are hungry. If you can help get them rehydrated at that point, it keeps kids from overeating when they come home, and then they don't want to eat as healthy of a supper for you. If we're thinking about, gosh, my kids are having a hard time getting to sleep, maybe they are really worried about their weight all the time, a lot of those drinks, they may be giving some hydration. However, there's a lot of other places where we can get some better hydration for them. Even in fruits and vegetables, there's a lot of hydration in fruits and vegetables. There's a lot of ways you can make water dressed up. If they want to watch some really cool videos, there's a lot of fruit and vegetables you can put into infused waters that can be amazing. Just, getting your kids in the mantra of saying, when I have a choice, what's the best choice I can make within this situation?
We have to teach, we have to model. And so I think that's a really important skill when we're talking about nutrition, when we're talking about hydration.
Some of the best things in life happen around the dinner table. Make the food with your kids so that they're there with you. Have the phone off to the side. Sit around on the dinner table and just talk to each other. And so probably the more you can unplug and do stuff with your kids. And if your kids are having a hard time eating stuff, sometimes you involve them in the making of the food. If stuff that they cut, they picked, give them some choice, they're gonna be more likely to eat what you're eating.
Not only about the nutrition we put in, but it's the time that we have together during that, because they can process what their day was like, what their week was like, what challenges they're experiencing, what their joys were of the week. So that's more than just, the food that you put into your body. There's a wellness piece that comes along with it when we are able to do it. Until we recognize the emotional connections to food, we can't separate out so many of those things.
For somebody like myself or anyone to come in and say, we're going to try and shift this up for your emotional wellness, it feels like I'm eating this for my emotional wellness, right? This is how I feel connected to my ancestors. This is what I've always eaten. And it feels emotionally unsafe to try and imagine eating something in a different way. I have to confront the idea that maybe this food that you have used to keep yourself connected to self or to family isn't keeping you as healthy as you'd like. But I think it is just the exploration of the ideas with people in understanding we can keep these things, and we can also explore together with our support, with however we can support you in shifting some of these things in a way that does increase in the body emotional wellness.
And it's okay if every day is not the perfect optimal meal. The thing is getting them to eat something so they have some level of nutrition, number one.
Well, I've believed for some time, and I continue to believe that food is medicine.
We don't always just need to give you a pill or a medicine. Let's actually figure out why this is happening. Let's increase the water. Let's increase the good foods.
And one of our priorities was to always have snacks and drinks in our youth services area, knowing that a lot of times families are coming here and those kids have maybe had a school lunch 4 hours ago, and giving them a bag of goldfish crackers is going to make a huge difference in how they respond in that intervention. So let me give you a granola bar and a bottle of water, and then we'll proceed.
Nutrition's a huge issue. So one thing that our schools have done, they do a tremendous amount of grab and go breakfast. So that is something that's available to kids, so that if they miss breakfast but they still want to be social, that they can take a breakfast with them. We lose the power as parents very quickly as to what our kids are choosing, whether you're packing their lunch or they're getting it through the tray line. Piece by piece little conversations with them when they are at a point where their ears are more open to say, okay, well, you have this for breakfast. versus when you have this for breakfast. How hungry are you? Do you feel better? Do you feel worse? Helping them to start recognizing and listening to their body is going to help them to feel better in their brain, help them feel better in their body, and ultimately is going to help them to have better behavioral control of themselves too. So it all fits together in the big picture.
You know, if we have a chance as a community to feed kids, whether that be through food banks or whether it be through free food distributions, there is no reason that our community cannot be committed to providing vulnerable kids and families with healthy food.
All of us as parents, it's a humbling job. And you know, we, as the schools, we want to partner with parents. We're never in battle with you. We always want to partner. You just got to ask.
Really important, understanding that your parenting journey shouldn't be perfect, and you will have ups and downs, and you'll feel confident, and then you'll feel like, what did I just do? But your kid's still going to be okay with your love and support.
When you have a choice, make the best choice you have.